So would you define Scott Walker as a true conservative?
A true conservative?
Yes, or would he fall more maybe under the aspects of a neoconservative?
I would call him more of a true conservative. I agree with him on most things, not everything.
Well, as a conservative, do you believe in non-interventionalism?
Define it.
Well, for instance, all these different wars we have in the Middle East and the drone bombings and so forth. I'm sure you probably can disagree with some of Obama's war policies.
I agree with many of his war policies.
Okay.
I disagree with many of them, rather.
Oh, you disagree with Obama?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think you either commit to war or you don't commit to war. None of this slow escalation. Slow escalation is what got us into Vietnam.
I completely agree with you.
So either you go all in or you don't go all in. World War II, we went all in, and it was over in a few years, and we were done.
Scott Walker and the Republicans here in the state, their policies towards the microbreweries, when they made legislation to affect the microbreweries and have more rules on the microbreweries.
Oh, I think that was wrong. I disagree with that.
Would you agree that was an example of big government?
Actually, yes, because it made it more difficult for the microbreweries to survive.
Okay. What about the fact that in Act 10, there was a portion that included that all state UW police now have statewide authority. University of Wisconsin Police and all university police now have jurisdiction of the entire state of Wisconsin.
I can't comment on that. I'm not aware of that provision.
It was quite shocking.
I'd have to look it up. But I do support the provisions of Act 10.
Is it that you like Scott Walker? Is it just that you hate the Democrats more?
No. No, I'm not a blind follower.
Okay. Do you wish there was a viable third party?
Potentially, if they had the right views. I mean, it's kind of like the Tea Party originally started that way. It was a fiscal movement originally. Then it got hijacked by the more social conservatives, and I didn't agree with all of that.
Co-opting of movements is definitely a common occurrence.
Well, on both sides.
Yes, I agree.
There's whores on every side.
Yes.
So, but you know, things like Act 10. I think Act 10 speaks for itself. It's had many successes in the state. It's actually removed the stranglehold on municipalities. I live in a municipality that was caught dead in its tracks because of the unions having way too much power. Now there was a little bit more. There's a little more freedom.
Okay, what were the differences, in your opinion, under Tommy Thompson than what's going on now, where Scott Walker needed to introduce these radically different policies than Tommy Thompson?
I think Tommy Thompson had a different makeup in his he had a Democrat-controlled legislature for time as well, so he had to reach across the aisle, work more. I don't think he was as ideological. I think Walker's a little more ideological. So. Tommy Thompson is more what you'd consider, I don't know, more fiscally a little more moderate. Although he gave us W-2, which was also a major success until Obama removed the provisions for it recently.
Okay, one more question.
Sure.
Would you say that the success of the Republican Party over the last few years is due to the extreme failures of the Democrats? You got Jim Doyle, you got Barack Obama, who failed the people.
I'd say that's a part of it. I also think it's actions. You know, the running away. You know, the Democrats could have stayed here and fought. They might have gotten some concessions, but I think that was a big factor. And when you brought it up in your little speech over there, when you act the fool, you empower. And, you know, I think the fact that Walker he has the potential to ascend to the presidency, it's because of the Democrats in the state of Wisconsin.
One more question for you.
And his policies.
What are your thoughts on the Libertarian Party?
I think the Libertarian Party has many merits. I like the small government provisions of it. I like the potential of focusing on mainly fiscal issues. It's important because the social issues don't matter if your fiscal house isn't in order.